Well, I got time before this rain comes in for just a short ride on my trusty trek. We've got it pretty much set up for the off-road now, so stick around. We'll chat about a few things. Well, hello again, Internet. Welcome back to the channel. Yes, I am out. I'm taking one more ride. We got one turtle up I see here. Is he going to boogie it? I don't know if you can see him. He's dark. Looks like he just got up out of there. And there he goes. There he goes. Yeah, we are headed out as I'm filming this. It's going to be tomorrow. We're headed out to Washington, D.C. And no, I'm not taking the trek bike out. We're going to let it be a surprise to you for what I am taking, because what I've done with a trek bike is I've removed the bell and the mirror and the phone mount, and the throttle has been disconnected. I've not removed the throttle yet because I still got to redo some cable management. I actually disconnected the back brake sensor so that the back brakes do not cut off the motor when you use them. And I actually, I actually put that back because I did not want to actually remove that wire and that magnet just yet. I just disconnected it, and I didn't want to forget and leave them sockets exposed before I could go ahead and seal them up properly with another fitting going on them, or of course on this side of it, go ahead and remove that. So that's actually hooked back up for now. The side stand has gone off of it, and this thing is all about weight savings right here. And you would think, I talked about being in the elements. I may be in the elements today. That cloud's getting dark pretty quick. Clouds are getting dark pretty quick. But anyway, we talked once already about, the mid-drive and the hub drives and what my thoughts were on them. And you would think that would maybe be the biggest thing that is different, and it's not. It's not. Let me tell you the biggest difference between what I am riding now when I go riding with Michelle versus, this bike here. This is the one that I've been riding 99% of the time. I ride this bike right here. Making sure that Bluetooth doesn't pop out of my ear too. I'm kind of checking out a new Bluetooth that I got just to see if it's going to be comfortable enough to wear while we are up in DC. But I'll tell you what the absolute biggest difference is that I noticed. And notice I said a difference, not a better or a worse, but it's going to be the weight difference. This thing weighs next to nothing compared to a tremendous amount of your typical electric bikes. I wonder if we should cut through this way here. I'm not sure if that ever goes back down. We'll go up this way and maybe cut through the middle a little bit, because I'm seeing there's quite a bit of traffic coming up through here, and it gets pretty loud as it's coming through there. Maybe it won't be that much. But this thing weighs next to nothing. And so where this really shines is if you're gonna, do something like super tight turns, or if you're going to, move that front end over a little bit like that, because you get up here and you almost want to be still, and then just kind of set it down over a little bit. Like that right there. You can do that on this. I have absolutely zero need to do any of that out on the greenways. There's just no purpose in it when you're out riding in those kind of on the kind of things that Michelle and I ride, on the kind of things that Michelle and I ride. There's no purpose in doing something like that. So, yeah, it looks like we got some rain over that way. I don't know if you can see it through the trees with the camera, but it's raining over that way a little bit. And so what I'm kind of learning is to really appreciate the differences between some of these bikes, because I actually do appreciate some of the hub drives much more than what I actually thought I was going to. I hear something loud coming up behind us too. Yeah, I think we'll cut down this way right here. I'm looking up here to make sure that wasn't the bald eagle that was around here the other day. That looks like a buzzard. That looks like a buzzard, maybe a bald buzzard, but it's a buzzard all the same. But yeah, I'm really learning how to appreciate the differences in that, and the weight doesn't really bother me. Now, I'll mention something else that I noticed a lot of, and you know, I just mentioned that I disconnected this throttle. This throttle, it's no longer connected up. And because I haven't been using the throttle at all on this bike, but I can tell you it's nice to use on the heavier bikes. So there's no question about that. And especially if, now I don't even know what kind of bird that is, but it's got an awful lot of red, flaming red on it there. That's really interesting. It sort of looks like they're trying to veer me away, so maybe they are ground nesting and they've got a nest back there somewhere. If anybody can tell me, hopefully he'll come out of there again. Tell me what kind of bird this is. It doesn't not look like it looked just way, way, way too red to be any kind of a robin or anything like that. So put down in the comments if you know what that was, if you could see it. I don't even know, you may not even be able to see that. But anyway, there we go, down rabbit holes or bird holes, whatever. Yeah, I'm really learning to appreciate the differences between what I built that I really love and what is being built out there that I really appreciate, and I'm learning to really like them just as much. Hop front wheel over that little pipe there that come out of nowhere. So we're not taking this bike, you know, like I say, we're taking a hub drive with us up to Washington, D.C. Which one are we taking? Well, you're going to have to tune in to find out. Oh, smoothed it right in there again. Yep, you got to be subscribed and hit that bell so you'll be the first to know what we're doing when we get up there. What else is going on? Well, we're looking at a few more reviews. I've decided to take a very limited amount of bikes in, and so we're looking at possibly doing a few more of those. Helmets. I'm wanting to get a little bit more serious about my off-road stuff here. You know, I think I'm going to stick over here on the edge. That grass is up pretty high. It'll be filled with some ticks that close to the woods line. I've got a new helmet coming that should afford a little better protection for the off-road stuff. So we'll be showing you what we're getting there. And it comes down a little bit further in the back. No, it's not a full-face motorcycle helmet for like downhill type stuff, but it's a better mountain biking helmet. We'll bring you that. And I'm still in the market for a very good quality Class 1, and yes, only Class 1 e-bike for the off-road. Why, Blaine? Why? Well, because if I'm going to get something that's going to be really pretty good, you know, I had the Urus there and I just couldn't get the range on that, at least not without heavily modifying it, which would take away a lot of its off-road stuff. So I was going to be okay with that, but you know, I've got a good bike trail bike, and so for the off-road, if I'm going to get something good for that, I don't have to worry about it being a great cruiser as well. And so I want it to be very, very good on the off-road. And because of that, I intend to do some competitions. I don't know if it's going to be this year or next, but I am looking into doing some e-mountain bike competition. That'll be fun. An old man out there racing against these youngsters. And of course, the only thing you're going to be able to race, at least in the series that, you know, in the races that I'm looking at, is going to be a Class 1. That's going to be the only thing. Matter of fact, they even, when I say Class 1, you can't just say, well, yeah, my bike tops out at 30 miles an hour and I disconnected the throttle, so it's a Class 1. No, it actually has to be a qualified motor. It cannot peak at more than 750 watts to be a true Class 1. Which means you're basically looking at a 250 watt motor going in there. Sometimes a 350 watt, but typically it's going to be a 250 watt. And we're looking at Bosch, Shimano. I think Yamaha makes their own motor. And I am approaching them about some other motors to make sure of that, because they actually have to have a qualified motor to make the bike eligible to go in there. And that is something that is on my bucket list. You know, I'd thought a couple years ago when I ran back across that series that I was very involved with, I thought, boy, how cool that would be to get the last year that I actually raced that series, I continued racing, but it was after I moved to North Carolina, but it was in 82 or 83, maybe 84, but in the early 80s. And I even thought, how cool would it be to find an old bike from the 83, 84 era, you know, go back and look and see when I actually finished the GNCC stuff, and restore it and go and race in one of those. Yeah, that would cost a mint. I better go break into Fort Knox, because I'd be looking at $20,000 to set myself up to do that. And that's not that big of it's not that big of an item on my bucket list. But when I started doing these the e-mountain bike races, now that's up my alley. That's something that I'm not considering that, you know, that would be a cost for that one thing on a bucket list. That's just a cost of something that I enjoy doing. So I'm good with that. So, all right, that's what's going on here. The next stop that we're going to be making is going to be in Washington, D.C. And so I think we're just going to go ahead and shut it down. Like I said, I wanted to take you guys out with me on this quick little ride to make sure that when everything went back together. We also changed the stem on this bike back to the original Bontourage stem. I wanted to make sure when everything went back together, it come back together just the way I wanted it, and it feels like it has. So I think that's going to wrap it up for this time around, Internet. So till the next time, this is Southern E-Biking telling you, stay safe, God bless, and keep the wheels rolling. Once again, we are out.